Are you ready to break into a brand new segment that I just thought of?
Sure,
minute?
Why not?
All right. We've had Indian Tales.
Sure.
I think it is now time for cab stories.
Oh, cab stories, yeah.
Yeah.
Driving in my taxi.
Yeah. Taking tips.
And getting stoned.
If you can't think of any, I have a few that I would love for you to tell.
Okay, I'd be glad to reiterate whatever you can remember, because that was almost like blanked that time out of my mind. But if you remember something, I'll tell you the story. I remember
very, very loud.
Okay, I'll be glad to tell it.
Please tell the story.
Okay.
About I don't remember if it was a guy or a lady, but you told me a story about somebody that was always sick and you had to drive them to get their meds, but they wanted you to either take them to a liquor store or take them to score.
Well, that was a pretty common theme with a lot of the people that I drove around, but I will reiterate a story. I will tell this is a true story.
All right.
There was a guy, won't give you his name, obviously, but there was a guy who was a veteran in the, I think he was a Vietnam vet. Mm-hmm. Okay. This guy was one of those guys who went to Vietnam War, came home, made something of himself, worked, I think he worked for the railroad. I believe he told me about, his time at the railroad.
Okay.
He rose up through the ranks, made a pretty good living.
Right.
Got involved with a woman.
There's where it falls off the cliff.
Basically, yeah. She basically, at least, I only got his side of the story.
Sure.
But since we're on the suicide thing this tonight, this woman drove him to the edge. Whatever happened, he didn't really elaborate, but he sort of told me his story. The reason I picked this guy up every single day, is he was blind.
Okay,
he was a blind guy,
right?
So the protocol was I had to pick him up at 10 o'clock in the morning at 10 a.m. sharp every day, every single day.
Okay.
And because he lived alone, he lived in his home, he was close to 70 years old. He was like 60-something years old.
Mm-hmm.
The protocol was I would pull in the driveway and I would honk the horn.
Okay.
He would open up the garage door with his garage door opener, and I would have to pull into the garage.
Okay.
I would have to get out of the car, have the car door open, and he would come out into the garage, and then he would take my arm, and I would lead him around to the door, the back seat, and he would get in to the car.
Right.
And I would drive him to the VFW every day.
Right.
He would just sit there from 10 o'clock in the morning from the time that they opened, and then I would have to pick him up at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He would basically be there for 4 hours.
Okay.
And he would just drink his ass off every day. Every day I picked him up, he was completely wasted.
Nice.
Completely wasted. Well, the reason he drank and the reason he was blind was he attempted to commit suicide.
Oh.
And he tried to shoot himself in the head.
Oh.
And the only result was he caused himself to be blind.
So he pulled off, but he hit his
I don't know how it happened, but it was a failed suicide attempt, and it caused him to be blind.
He had to have pulled off and hit his optic nerve.
It could have been. I don't know.
Wow. Holy shit, he had to be a ball of fucking energy to talk to.
So when I went to pick him up at the VFW, I had to pull up the car next to the door, get out, walk in there, and go up to him and let him know I was there. And by this time, he was so completely wasted, he could barely walk.
Okay.
Every day.
Right.
And I would, basically have to walk him to the car and get him in the car. On some days, usually one day a week, before we went to the VFW, I would have to go to the CVS because here at the CVS, the booze is really cheap.
Okay, what was he drinking? Mad Dog?
No, he was drinking Jim Beam and Miller Lite.
They sell Jim Beam at the CVS?
Well, like I said, here the booze is really cheap. They have a CVS. The CVS literally has a full row of booze. Anything from wine to hard liquor to beer.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's cheap.
They won't sell cigarettes.
They won't sell cigarettes, though, but they sell a lot of booze. So
Nice.
so he would have me go to the ATM with him locally and basically pull out $200.
200?
$200. No, this would get him through the week to drink at the VFW all week.
Okay.
And also buy his booze at the CVS. So I would have to go into the CVS, buy the big bottle of the Jack,
right.
not the Jack, but the Jim Beam,
right,
and a case of beers.
So $60.
It was probably a little over $45.
Wow, that's a pretty good
cheap.
deal.
It's really cheap.
Yeah, no shit. Might have to get me some.
Yeah, so I would keep that in the car because I would pick him up later.
Right.
And then when I would get him and he'd be completely wasted,
right,
I would drive him to his home, pull into the garage, get him out of the car, then carry his booze up to the kitchen for him.
And half the time you had to carry him, too, because he was hammered,
Well,
right?
yeah, but I had to lead him into the house to get him to the banister.
Yeah.
And then he would crawl his way up the stairs to the... and then I would carry his booze up to the kitchen and put it on the counter.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Now, did this guy... Let me ask it a different way. Did you feel like you became friendly with this guy?
Oh, yeah. We when he was sober, when I would pick him up in the morning,
yeah,
he would, talk and relate stories to me and just be very friendly. Yeah. But the thing is that he wouldn't go with anybody else unless it was me.
Okay.
When he would call the cab company for his pickup,
yeah,
he would say, make sure it's Wendell.
So when you picked him up at the VFW and you took him home, that wasn't annoying as shit to you?
It was.
I was going to say you had to be fucked because I know you don't like drunk people.
I don't. But, the thing is he didn't put up a fight and he wasn't, combative in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
But I did have to hold on to him so he didn't fall on his ass, and make sure he got in the car and everything okay. So in this instance, even since I got to know the guy, I more or less just feel sorry for him.
Right.
But the thing is to sit there and drink your ass off for 4 hours every day and get totally blasted.
Right.
I was just like, holy shit. How does one's body even take that?
Did you ever think about just accidentally placing a gun somewhere in the back seat?
Well, the thing is the guy tried it once already.
Well, maybe get a higher caliber gun.
But he was a real nice guy. I mean, very friendly and everything. And he always was nice and he always tipped me, okay. And, and he was he seemingly was happy to hear my voice.
Right.
When I picked him up and everything,
Right. Jesus.
But that was one of the things that I dealt with almost on a daily basis.
Dude, you were so fucking miserable.
It's terrible, dude.
No.
And maybe that could be a new segment, Cab Tales or whatever. Cab
confessions.
But I got to tell you what, the depressing dregs of society that I dealt with on a daily basis is enough to make you commit suicide. It's just like, holy shit, these people don't have any life at all.
And the thing for people to understand was this is when everything fell apart.
Yeah, basically, I mean, you left the show.
I left the show.
My
so the
business
show
fell
took a
apart.
shit.
Everything just fell apart. I was dating.
You say your business fell apart. We're not talking about a small business
no,
here.
We're talking millions of dollars lost here.
Millions of dollars lost. So you go from that business to, man, I got to do something or I'm going to lose my fucking house.
More or less, yeah.
So I'm driving a cab. I remember talking to you, and you were on like day, 75 in a row. Because you worked every day.
Yeah, I did.
You worked literally 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then you were trying to do the show at night, but I wasn't there, so you weren't happy doing that. So then you'd be extra tired for Sunday doing this shitty job that you hated again. Oh,
and plus, I was involved with a girl who fucked me over.
Oh yeah, that was at that time too.
Yep, same time.
Holy smokes! Yeah, that was
so it was coming at me from all angles.
Yeah, it was.
But did I ever at any point think, man, I'm just going to off myself? No, that was never even a consideration. It's just like, all right, this is the rough time.
Yeah.
I'll make it through. Something will happen.
Right.
And it did.
Yeah.
It took a while. It didn't happen overnight, but I persevered. I stuck with it. I did what I had to do, and it worked out okay.
You did it for what, 2 years?
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. And how many days off did you have in those 2 years?
I don't know.
Less than 5.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that few. Probably, I don't know, maybe 50 days total out of 2 years.
Yeah. I was going to say, you were working a ton.
Yeah, I was. But I had to. I had to. It was a cash business, and, I just had to go out there and do what I had to do. And
it was barely a cash business. It wasn't like you were getting rich. It wasn't like you were coming home every day with $350 in your pocket.
Oh, no. On an average day, I came home with about $100 in my pocket.
Ooh, wow.
On an average day.
That is brutal.
Some days it was more, some days it was less. I would say about $100. So I probably took home about $500 a week.
$500 a week working
7 days.
70 hours.
Yeah, but more or less, yeah.
Oof, that was brutal.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, but what I remember most is you were trying to find any fucking job.
Yeah, there just wasn't anything happening at that time.
Nothing near you, nothing happening. Hell, I remember I was sending you leads from here.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about, I'll just fucking leave.
Yeah, I'll just sell out and just go.
And that was like unpractical because you had that place.
Yeah.
You had that gated community to walk away from.
Well, that really wasn't an issue. It was just opportunity was the number one concern. Yeah. It's just like, where's the next opportunity? I'm willing to pack it up and go.
Yep. Hell, at one point you talked to my partner.
I did.
Yeah, about going to Pittsburgh.
I did.
Yep. That was a crazy, crazy time there.
Sure, it was rough, but I made it through. I persevered. I did what I had to do. I worked hard. I, budgeted and managed and did everything I had to do to get through.
Yeah, for both of us, that was a really bad time.
Sure.
2009, 2010, just
rough.
Fucking terrible.
Yep. But here we are, 2016, and we're still here to talk about it.
Yep. And we're both sort of happy.
So it's all good.
Yep. All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
I agree. Well, I got a song in mind I would like to end the show with.
All right.
It's from David Lee Roth solo.
Okay.
I heard this week.
Okay.
And I think it's a good way to end the show because we were just talking about it.
All right.
So we didn't have any guests tonight, so there's no one to thank except for us, our greatness.
Yes, our awesomeness.
Yeah, our awesomeness. I want to thank everybody who did tune into the show tonight and was part of the show and all that good stuff.
I want to thank that girl for crying.
Should I play that one more time?
Yeah, one more time. I need to hear it once more.
All right.
It has to be a joke. I do not believe this is happening. I'm literally about to fucking kill myself, and I'm not kidding. You better fucking fix this shit right now. I literally am going to die. I need an ambulance.
I hear that. I like the part where she goes to catch her breath?
Yeah.
She goes, love that.
Well, again, I don't want to sound, derogatory or hateful or anything, but seriously, if this election caused you to consider suicide, just do it.
Yeah. Get it over with.
Just get it over with.
Yep.
Just go on to a better life.
Yeah, please. Hurry up.
Exactly. All right, let's get out of here. Let's leave you with some David Lee Roth. Here's some damn good times.
All right.
Till next Saturday night, this is Neeley along with my very good friend,
Chris Hagan.
And we're gone.
Bye, kids.
Mr. Trump, one of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't. For the record, it was well beyond Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
Your Twitter account has several disparaging comments about women's looks. You once told a contestant on Celebrity Apprentice it would be a pretty picture to see her on her knees. Does that sound to you like the temperament of a man we should elect as president? And how will you answer the charge from Hillary Clinton, who is likely to be the Democratic nominee, that you are part of the war on women?
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either. This country is in big trouble. We don't win anymore. We lose to China. We lose to Mexico, both in trade and at the border. We lose to everybody. And frankly, what I say, and oftentimes it's fun, it's kidding, we have a good time, what I say is what I say. And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that. But you know what? We need strength, we need energy, we need quickness, and we need brain in this country to turn it around. That I can tell you right now.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy.